There are two types of people in this world. People who think they would survive in the wilderness and people who know they would survive in the wilderness. The latter is a lot less concerned with whether or not they could survive in the wild, and more concerned with how well they'd survive in the wild. And if you're one of them, then this should be right up your alley. Welcome to my channel. The rules are simple. Every week we will post a scenario and 3 possible outcomes. You'll need to choose which one you think is the best option and why. Then at the end of the week, we'll reveal the correct answer, or what we think is the correct answer at least. This is Survival 101. Every single organism that has ever lived on this planet has had to compete for the same exact things: food, water, and shelter. These are the 3 primary needs that every living thing requires to survive. And this competition between organisms for food, water, and shelter is what this entire quiz is based on. We will put you into scenarios where you'll have to choose the option that gives you the best chance of meeting these basic survival needs. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look at our first scenario. You find yourself alone on a rocky, deserted island after your ship sank during a violent storm. The good news is that you're completely alone. The bad news is that you're completely alone. The only things that you have with you are the clothes on your back and the shoes on your feet. There is no sign of life on this island, but you do see 3 different areas. One is an area with lots of tall trees and thick underbrush. Another is a large open field with lots of different plants, and the third is a sandy beach with clear water on the other side of the island. Where do you go? A. Head into the wooded area. Start building a shelter. B. Immediately run to the beach and jump into the ocean. C. Set up camp in the open field and start gathering food. This is a tough one. If you picked A, you might have been thinking along the lines of, hey, if I head into the wooded area and start building a shelter, I'm going to get out of the elements, keep warm, dry, and safe. And that's not a bad way to think about it. But there are a couple of problems with this theory. For one, when you think you're alone on an island, even though you are, your mind associates being alone with being vulnerable. So you're going to be constantly looking over your shoulder and keeping an ear out for danger that isn't really there. That means that you're not going to get a good night's sleep, and that's not going to help you think clearly and make good decisions later on. Secondly, you're also going to waste a lot of time building a shelter that you don't really need. It's not like you're going to be here forever, and a little bit of rain or a little bit of wind is not going to hurt you all that much. Now, if you picked B, then you were probably thinking that swimming in the ocean was a great idea. After all, if you jump in the water, you can float around until you're either rescued or you tire yourself out and then swim to shore. And yes, it would be nice to get a drink of fresh water, but you really don't need water right now. You need food, and it's not worth wasting the energy swimming to shore just yet. Well, that's a nice thought, but it's not very practical. First of all, it's unlikely that your ship sank in shallow enough water for you to actually swim to safety. And even if it did, wouldn't you want to conserve your energy instead of expending it? You also don't know how long you're going to be on this island, so it's unwise to waste precious energy so early on. That leaves us with C. This person headed into the open field and started gathering food. Not a bad idea, except you don't know if the plants on this island are safe to eat. And if you randomly start munching on plants, you could end up making yourself violently ill. If you made it this far in the video, you already know that picking C was the correct choice. Why? Because it gave us the opportunity to do something called reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is the military term for the act of secretly and carefully getting information about the enemy from a safe distance. And when you apply it to the concept of surviving in the wild, it means that before you do anything else, it's a good idea to get to know your surroundings. Take some time to survey the land and make sure that you're not being followed. Check the vegetation and soil to make sure that nothing poisonous is growing nearby. Look for any signs of animal life and try to get a general lay of the land. Most importantly, though, is to look for water. Water is essential for human survival, and without it, you won't last long. So let's take a moment to look at a few of the ways that you can find water in the wilderness. For one, you can collect rainwater. If it rains, you're in luck. Just take a big leaf or piece of bark and use it to collect as much water as you can. But if it doesn't rain, you're going to have to find another source. One way to find water is to look for low spots in the ground. In the bottom of valleys or near the bases of hills, you're likely to find springs. And if you follow those springs downstream, you're eventually going to come across running water. Running water, of course, is a great source of drinking water, but if you can find standing water, that's even better. Standing water is less likely to contain contaminants, and it's always a good idea to boil any water that you find before drinking it, but it's especially important when dealing with standing water. Bring that water to a rolling boil, let it cool, and then drink it slowly. You're going to need water for a lot of things, so it's important that you find a good source early on. Shelter is another one of your most important priorities. A good shelter is going to protect you from the elements, keep you warm and dry, and allow you to get a good night's sleep. When choosing a spot for your shelter, look for a spot that's relatively flat and offers some natural protection, like a rock outcropping or a group of trees. Once you've got your spot picked out, it's time to start building. The most important thing to remember is that you're not trying to build the Taj Mahal. Your goal is just to build something that will keep you alive. When it comes to finding food, you don't want to waste any time, but you also don't want to make any mistakes. If you're stranded on an island, like in our example, you may not have any tools with you, so you're going to have to get creative. Try to stick with foods that you recognize and avoid anything that could potentially be poisonous. If you do decide to eat something that you're not familiar with, make sure to only eat a small amount first and wait to make sure that you're not going to get sick. So we hope you enjoyed the first episode of Survival 101. Make sure to leave us a comment and let us know what you would do in this situation. And then watch this video next.